Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the U.S. International Speedway, and we're green. There was a little bit of complications going on with qualifying, but it looks like we're going to have Jody Banfield going to be taking the lead.
Actually, that's Riley O'Caffey, I believe.
Now we got people going all over the place.
We're just searching for grip here. So
there was a little bit of issues going on with qualifying, but some of the cars that were faster are not starting up in the front. So right now we're trying to figure out where people are going to be staying. We're seeing the person in first is Riley O'Caffey. Caution's out. Where was the caution?
Let's go ahead and we'll take a look back here, see where our day is.
We're looking through. I think I might have found it with the 44 and 33 in turn number 2.
All right, so yes, I do have it here, and it looks like the 44 may have just driven it in a little bit too hard and just got into the back of the 33. You just see him send it here a little bit, 1 and 2, and just knock him around to the back. It doesn't look like he hit anything, so I think he should be clean. Though it looks like he has dropped out of the server. So that is unfortunate. I'm not sure if he dropped out of the server intentionally or if that was a mistake. But he looked to have no damage, so that's quite unfortunate.
Well, the 33 car is now officially out. Riley O'Caffey is our leader at the moment with Ryan Gavel in second.
It is worth noting Ryan Gavel in second. I mean, he's been the bridesmaid to almost every one of these races where he's been up there, he's been fighting for a win, but he just hasn't been able to get it done.
Yeah, he's been looking very strong. But also someone we need to watch out for, who's in the middle of the pack, is going to be Tommy J. Kennenberg, who's been our 2-time winner now. Is he going to try to go for 3 this race?
They're still pacing into the field. This is an 80-lap race. We're currently at lap 5. Now, what's more, the last 2 weeks has really been cautions, and that's what's hampered a lot of these drivers from back in the pack being able to work their way up to the front. With this bad qualifying position, do you think the 88's actually going to be able to work his way up here, or?
I mean, if we're able to get a good, decent green flag run and maybe about 20 laps, he could be able to get up to the front. He's one of the faster cars that was coming through practice. These cars were not able to do qualifying. There was an issue that happened, and so the gridding was kind of more random. But I think the 88 car could get up to the front. Another car to look out for is the car in 6th of Cody Tripp. All the way down, though, in the back of the pack, some people to watch out for is going to be Kenny Zems. I think he's someone that we could see moving up as well.
Worth noting that Cody Tripp in the 21, who was I believe our first race winner. He's back here in 6th.
That would be actually the car in 7th of Tyan Dank.
Oh, well, I was incorrect. Tyan Dank, where is he? Oh, he's in 7th. I've got the camera focused on him. And actually, he's been pretty silent other than that first race. He hasn't really been very splashy. He hasn't been racing up near the front. I mean, do you think this is going to be just a small slump, or he's going to be able to pull out of this and maybe pull a few wins?
Well, I mean, the second race, he got into an accident that really hampered him from coming up and winning at all. He was in top. Race number 3, I'm not really sure what happened. He just seemed like he just disappeared. And here we are now. Let's see what happens.
As we're ready to go back over to green here, it looks like Riley O'Caffey's managed to go Ryan Gavel still in second here. This looks like he's going to try and...
Caution's out, huge! Oh my goodness, that's at least 6 cars.
That's not good.
We didn't even get into turn number 1 fully, and everyone was out.
We'll go ahead and take a look back here. I have no clue what just caused that.
Oh no, our first race winner. I think this is where it happened with Dank getting a little bit spun after crossing the line. Being spun by the 2 car, I believe that
Taking a
is.
look here from the top angle, see Dank there in the white car. And it just looks like Cody Tripp maybe moved down just a little bit, caught him, and after that, there's nowhere to go. Everyone just starts piling in. I don't know what that one car was that went upside down, but yikes. That's what USA does. I mean, USA is such a tight track that you just have nowhere to escape, and that's been a story for a lot of our tracks this season where once you're in it, you're in it.
I mean, this was one of the things that was so scary with these drivers that weren't able to qualify up in the front. They were down in the back, so they had to be aware of these cautions that were going to happen. You got to hope that if there's a caution in front of you, you're able to slow down and the cars behind you slow down, or you might just get ran over like we just saw there.
Let's go ahead and take a look from the onboard of the 02 of Josh Mayu, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Go ahead and take a look here.
So,
I was quite curious to see how he almost made it through this. I think he was the one upside down. He's rolling. Wreck happens in front of him. Almost just looks like he got hit from behind, and oh, there he goes, all the way over.
yeah, he almost got through and he got tagged on the rear end, which then was the cause of him flipping over. These cars are I've seen it in practice a lot. They easily can flip over if you hit them in the right place on the wall. And like we've seen there, even if you get tagged on the side and in a quarter panel, you can be flipping.
It's worth noting that Ryan Gavel in the 77, he's having the same issue he's had almost all season. It's almost blinking issues, internet connection issues, where he just drops out for just a few seconds and then blinks back in. I haven't seen anything done about it in the last few races, admin-wise, but it is worthwhile to note that, hey, if his internet does start to drop in quality or get a little bit worse, he may be asked to go back to the field. And that's almost an immediate death sentence here.
Yeah, this track is so small and skinny. I mean, it's bigger than most of the tracks that we've been going to. It's probably one of the biggest tracks we will be at. But it's still very narrow. There's not very many places to go when an accident happens. And honestly, there's not a lot of places to make moves unless you try to move someone with your bumper.
And I do have to point out, ever since this new iRacing update, warming the tires are so important here. As you see the 38 of Riley O'Caffey just doing wide arcs just to keep him warm. Have heard from some drivers that on restarts, the new tires are obviously pretty cold and they're awful on restarts, but the old tires, they're also awful on restarts. So obviously keeping them warm is a very important part of his dominant restarts.
Coming up, everyone's going to be gritting up this time by, I believe. We started off with 22 racers, and we've got about 15 that are still moving, it looks like. Let me...
how I see here, I see 15 rolling.
15 that are on the lead lap.
I see Tehan Dank here it looks like he's rolling now about 3 laps down. I think Jeffrey Goodpaster, I think he's still on pit road. Oh yeah, he's still on pit road receiving service. Tehan Dank caught up to the rear of the field. Cody Tripp, I think he is rolling again. Yeah, Cody Tripp is rolling again. He's getting ready to go back in the rear here. See Riley O'Caffey take another commanding restart. Ryan Gavel is in second. And Riley O'Caffey's gotten some great restarts over here.
He really has, but the closest battle that are side by side is the battle for third. We got Benfield and Tucker right on top of each other, and they get touched.
All right, Tucker just. It looks like Tucker got moved here. doesn't look like he hit the wall too badly, but caution is out. Go ahead and take a look back at that.
Luckily, no one else was involved. It was just Tucker that was taken out. But you hate to see it. They were side by side racing hard, and then they just touched a little bit.
Looking from the rear view of Tucker here, you see him kind of racing to the corner and just out of nowhere, almost looks like he got moved down a little bit. I don't know if he moved down or if Gavel moved up.
It's just close racing, and you hate to see it. Tucker actually was Tucker was our fastest car during practice, and he was looking like he was going to have a very quick qualifying if qualifying was able to happen. But he's out, and our top two guys that were the fastest in practice are now have damage and are sitting in the back. And the next fastest guy is that 88 car that we were talking about. That it's been our two-time winner, trying to go for 3 in a row. It's Tommy Kemingberg. I mean, Kerryberg.
Kremenborg. That's how I've been pronouncing it. But it's worth it to notice. I mean, is anyone willing to just go get new tires? I mean, obviously tires on these modifieds take a little while to replace, but would, let's say 40 laps down the line, would fresh rubber actually help you or harm you more now?
I think around the halfway marker, we'll see if people are going to come in and pit. Because anything before then, you're still going to be... There's people are going to get better tires than you once they pit. Short pitting here is not going to be the best. We've seen so many cautions so far that it just doesn't seem like the best thing to do.
And we'll go ahead and we'll take this time over under caution. Just to advise, feel free to check out Race of Champions. They're actually a local modified series. They have a Wikipedia page that is updated on a regular basis with all the history and stats. Feel free to check it out. As we just pace around here for cautions. Let's see, just out of big movers, Riley O'Keefe did start second, and he really has just maintained the lead the entire time. I believe Ryan Gavel actually started in first, and really those two have been first and second in a lot of these events. Now, it's really worth it to notice that the 6, William here, he started back, and I believe he started back in the 12th position, actually. And he's managed to work his way up to 4th with all the accidents. He's had about 2 of them in front of him.
Yeah, our biggest mover so far would be the 44 car, who's moved up 12 positions from 20th to 8th.
Actually, isn't that bad. I mean, it's just a pure thing of survival of the fittest. And even bad drivers or bad cars can really get a good finish by just staying out of trouble.
Yeah, we're not saying that he's a bad driver. We're just saying...
Oh, no.
In certain situations, it
well,
happens.
it's more or less just drivers having a bad day almost.
Yeah.
It's never commanding restart. Ryan Gavin was 77 to slide into connection issues. Back straight away. Single file here at the moment.
This is the cleanest run we've seen so far, but we have to go all the way back to around 9th. Whoa! Cars are getting sideways to the back.
Oh, there's a big snap up back there. Looks like definitely Joseph Clark. I believe Scott Richard, David Tooker, I believe, may have been a part of that one too. Or Dalton Tucker.
Richard and Clark were on top of each other. Just when you think we're about to go green, there comes caution. This short tracks, man, they cause them. It's so easy to cause these wrecks.
So I will admit, I'm not exactly sure what happened here. because I'm looking here at the 27 of Joseph Clark, and it's almost like he got loose entering that corner and just entered a little too fast, kind of slid up, and just flew right into that bottom line. I don't know if he maybe just lost traction, it snapped loose. I'm not exactly sure here.
Something that I was seeing during practice with these guys is when they were getting onto the throttle, the cars would get pretty squirrely. Could have been a thing where he got onto the throttle just a little bit too soon. His car got completely sideways on him, and he just lost control.
Taking a look at the onboard here, just seeing him just start working that wheel right, and it looks like it just got out from under him. Just interesting to note. I've never seen, or at least from the practice that I saw, I didn't see any cars get like that, but you watch more practice than I do. So, yeah. Just kind of an unfortunate incident.
You know, most of these incidents that we're seeing are coming in off of the corners just because of how squirrely these cars are getting.
It almost looks like a lot of these drivers are just trying to run it straight into this corner, or into these corners. And that's, overdriving is an okay way to pass, but obviously leads to more trouble than it's worth if you time it wrong or you aim it wrong.
We've seen it throughout the whole entire season, though, that the bump and run is something that guys are using to get around everyone. I mean, the bottom line is the better line to be in. It's the fastest place, shortest way around the track. And people are trying to defend that the best they can, and using the bumper is the only way to really get guys out of the way, or if someone makes a mistake.
Go ahead and take a look. You see the 88 of Tommy Kramenborg. He's managed to work his way up all the way to 6th. I believe he started, in the 15th position. So he slowly and surely started working his way up. And we know he's not afraid to bump people out of his way. So, heck, going into these closing laps here, I mean, we're about a good quarter of a way, well, actually about 1/4 of the way through the race here. So, I mean, it's starting to wind down. Once we get a good green flag run, it'll be more or less who has the better strategy to take care of their tires more.
Right now, everyone's feeling safe about their tires. There's no fuel strategy really to worry about at the moment, just with how many caution laps we've had. I mean, everyone's saved their tires, saved their fuel. I think the one thing that people got to be worried about, though, is their tire heat in their tire. If the heat gets way too cold, it's going to be so hard getting these good restarts and getting around these corners.
That's definitely right. As the lights in the pace car are out, we're getting ready to go back green. Obviously, Riley O'Keefe's going to get a great restart here as the control car, but what can Ryan Gavel do just to keep up with him? Looks like he's having some trouble just anticipating these restarts as Riley O'Keefe gets going. I'm not sure if that's changing. See Riley O'Keefe take another good lead.
We're seeing all the moves going from 7th on back, side-by-side action. We're seeing if anyone's going to keep it clean. It looks like they are keeping it clean going into turn number 1. Whoa! Nope, they don't keep it clean. Cars are sideways in turn number 1. Scott Richard once again in another accident.
Man, he's been around a few times today as Walker. Let's go ahead and take a look back here and see what exactly caused this incident. Let's see here. Looks like he may have just sent it into the corner just a little bit too hot.
He got a little bit of help.
Take a look here from our aerial views and see Joshua. Looks like the 9 of Dalton Tucker almost just kind of sent the 05, or 02, or sorry, my apologies, the 05 of Scott Richard. And Josh Walker was more or less just kind of an innocent bystander. I'm not sure if he braked early or just kind of misjudged a corner. Go ahead and take a look here at the 9 of Dalton Tucker. And he's been in a few instances here today.
Just a few.
It almost looks like he wasn't expecting the 05 of Scott Richard to dive down as low as he did. I think he may expect him to stay in the high line. Just kind of two met in the middle here in turn 1.
Yeah, 2 guys wanting the same spot. You got some people that are going to be arcing into these corners, and a lot of you that you've been saying have been just diving it into these corners. It might have been what the 9 car was doing, and Scott Richards just didn't know that there was going to be a guy just putting his bumper down there.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I would say in the case of the 9 Dalton Tucker, I mean, you have to think from his perspective here, he was up there fighting in the top 3, and suddenly you get all the way thrown back in the 17th, 16th position. Obviously, you're trying to rush through the field as quickly as possible. And, you know, once you race up there in the pack, you're used to people being quick and making moves that they at least plan or expect. So when you get thrown back in the pack with people you haven't raced with before, it kind of brings a whole new dynamic to how you plan to get back up to the front.
Yeah, it does. News coming down on the pits. Got Josh Walker is going to be disconnecting, so his race is done for the day.
He's been involved in a few spin cycles. I'm surprised to see him hanging up. I think he's just been in one wreck too many, and you just call it a...
Okay, Matt, we're going to the green pretty soon, but what's your mentality here? You're coming to close to being halfway. Really haven't had a green flag run at all. Do you want to just try to bump and run someone into turn 1 and just try to slowly make your way up that way? And maybe you are the reason for the caution? Or is there a different strategy to take here with all these cautions that we've been seeing?
I mean, there's a time and a place for a bump and run. I would say for a bump and run, that's at least last 20 laps. And I mean, here's the thing. There's a fine line between bumping and running, and it's, hey, if you bump, at least make sure you got the time and there's not going to be another caution where he's going to catch back up to you and return the favor. I think right now it's more or less just a good time to just see if you can survive and just stay consistent. I mean, almost look at the 38 of Riley O'Keefe and the 77 of Ryan Galloway. They've just been hitting their marks and staying consistent. They haven't gotten push and shove yet. I mean, it's not important to them yet. They've still got another 60 laps before they should really start racing.
You got cars trying to sprint to get back behind the leaders. We're going green this time. We got 17 cars on the green flag on the green.
Doing all right there, champ?
Nope, I'm not. I feel like I might have just had a stroke for a moment. I don't know what's going on.
As the pace car comes off, Riley O'Keefe gets another good restart. Looks like the 67 Ryan Galloway actually.
So far, we're seeing guys 2 wide at 3rd and battling for 6th.
I mean, he's managed to work his way through the field. That's that first caution. He's slowly but surely starting to work his way through the field.
There goes the 88 car trying to make a move on, looks like 4th place.
It looks like he's getting around Jody Banfield.
Caution!
Back. Looks like the 9 of Patrick Hoosier? Looks like it was just a single car incident. I'm not sure if he had any help around. I think he may have.
He got a little bit of help.
Yep, it looks like the kind of the man on the move there. Dalton Tucker in the 9. Looks like he did around the 9 actually came down into the 5 of Patrick Hoosier came down a little bit into the 9 of Tucker. That's what it looks like from my angle. I'm not sure if that was the case or if it's just
That's what I'm seeing as well. Another situation where we got 2 cars trying to be in the same spot. Another situation where the 9 car is involved, which...
Yeah, I do have to... I would...
It's, none of this is on him. None of this is really on Tucker. It's just...
Here's the thing. Once you're involved in so many instances, I mean, that changes the perspective of those around you. Like, hey, I probably should steer clear of him, or I don't need to let him by, because, I mean, if I let him by, he's going to hit me. And I'm seeing a few cars coming under here to pit road. Not sure if we're going to get any new tires. Still worth noting the 88's managed to work 5th after that 15th starting position. I mean, he's kind of like the pure equivalent of just staying consistent, slowly working their way up the field, and get ready to be fight for a win.
Yeah, and then also the 6th car, William Kruska, he's moved up to 3rd, and he started in 12th. You got so many cars that are slowly moving up that you could tell have some pace. But our top 2, they've been pulling away from the pack every single time that we go green, and we're green for 2 laps. They've already pulled out to like a half-second lead, it seems like.
It's worth noting that, here's the thing, the 88 of Tommy Kragenberg, he really has the most to lose here, not by winning. Here's the thing, if he gets a bad finish, that's your points lead right out the door. Even though you have 2 wins, the points lead was separated by just 10 points over 2nd place. So, here's the thing, even if you don't get a win tonight, it's just consistency is what's going to keep you alive in this point standings. And again, since it's such a short season, every point counts.
And guess who's in second? Second in
Ryan
point.
Gavel.
Ryan Gavel, who's in 2nd right now, who's been looking for his
if Ryan Gavel pulls out a win here, obviously that's great for him, and I think he might even tie up the point standings, even if Tom Kremenborg gets an awful finish here.
A lot of what ifs, and there's still so much time. We're coming to the halfway marker. This race, it's been a caution fest, but
it's worth
there
noting,
is
look
still
at that 77. Or sorry, my apologies. Let me look at that 44 Zach. He's worked his way up here from, I think it was
he's from 20th
place. He slowly worked his way up here. So just a good race all around for him, besides that first incident.
A lot of these cars we're starting to see that are moving into the top 10, a lot of them started outside of the top 10 just because of the qualifying issues that we were seeing at the start of the race. Now we're seeing some of the speed come up, and we've seen a lot of cars being taken out with those earlier accidents.
Yeah, because here's the thing, that's how you win championships. It's just being consistent and actually managing to, keep running laps. It may not be flash. Here's the thing, you're not always going to be in contention to win every race, but it's not the flashiness that wins you championships. It's just the consistency that keeps you. You see a few cars here racing back to the line, just trying to get rear of the field. You see Tiahan Dake, actually, I believe he's on the lead lap again. Tiahan Dake is back on the lead lap.
Ryan Gavel trying to get under Kofefi. And he's side by side going into turn number 3. Is Gavel going to be able to make the pass here? I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be coming off the corner a little bit squirrely, but they stay side by side going across the line.
Looks like Gavel's going to be sending it in. Almost looks like he hit the 30 range a little bit. I don't know if that's a bump or not, but I'd definitely say at least a little bit of a nudge.
Oh, it's a little bit of a love tap on the side. They're keeping it strong as Gavel takes the lead. Crossing the half.
From both Gavel's position and in the 88 of Tom Kragenberg, the only driver that Kragenberg is not going to see win is Gavel. Because Gavel is the one competitor that's 2nd in points and within striking distance.
Yeah, and Tommy in the 88 car, he's back there. He's fallen back to 6th, letting the 44 car get by him. And now they're battling it out to just figure out where they're going to be staying as they're side by side in turn 2.
Kragenberg might get the running on his side. I'm sure the 44 is going to give it to him. Oh, wow, he sends it in.
They're staying together, and that's risky.
That's more risky. That's more risky for Kragenberg than it is for. Here's the thing. I think Zach knows that Kragenberg has a lot more to lose than the 44 does.
Yeah, the 88 car wants to make the move, and here he comes on the bottom side.
I'm trying to defend it again, but just can't stand up. It looks like the 88 Kragenberg's going to get a sure Zach's going to try over it.
Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Well, our top 4 are pulling away from these guys that have been battling.
Looks like the 44 is really just coming off his corners.
He's losing a lot of positions now. Because it all cranked up there.
Pass on the 80, sorry, the 6 here. Oh, William Sturza in the C car. Looks like he got a little bit of loose in the there in the corner. He'll give the position up to the 88.
Oh! Back in 5th. Or sorry, 6. There was a car that got spun around.
That was the 17 of Michael Timmerman. He's been pretty quiet today. We haven't talked about him. Looks like he went around. I'm guessing he had help.
He was running in around the 7th, 8th position, slowly moving up, and gets spun around there.
It kind of looks like the same thing. Looks like the 44. Oh, it's just like a little bit of over grandiose, just trying to get back there up there in the field, and it looks like he kind of dive bombed. The 17 was not expecting it, so ran the defensive line, and the 44 just couldn't go up in time and knocked the 17 around.
I mean, we're past the halfway marker. People are trying to stay strong. We got 31 laps to go.
I mean, looking at the current lineup, Zach in the 44 looks like a rookie class. I mean, here's the thing. While some people may balk at this, I mean, this is a good way to get experience. I mean, here's the thing. Yes, wrecking someone or running into someone is not always advised, but this is how you gain experience and learn, yes, I can do this, or no, I can't do that. Obviously, you just hate to be at the other end of the learning.
Yeah, it's always not fun to be learning in that situation.
I've unfortunately been at the giving end and the receiving end.
Big winner with this caution that's going to be able to get back on the lead lap. It's going to be Patrick Hooser.
I'm going to tell you that learning thing. If it happens, you feel terrible.
We got cars coming into the pit road, trying to get some more damage buffered out.
Looks like Ryan Gallo's just playing with pace car here. But it's worth noting again the 88 of Tommy Kramenborg trying to go for 3 in a row. He's here in 4th as you see the I believe that's actually I think that was who was that?
That did what?
Somebody just got their lap back. But it's worth noting that William Cristuza there in 5th, he did hammer the wall pretty hard, and I don't think there's any damage on the side of that car. Just looking here through our cameras, it looks like on the right end, it looks like the roll bar is a bit bent up, but I'm not sure if it pushed in the right front any. I definitely don't want to knock the toe out of that car. These things are so tough to drive already.
I believe I saw him coming out down the backstretch, knocking the wall a little bit.
Yeah,
after
he came
getting
out
passed
of
by
2,
it.
and looks like he just got clogged the wall. As we sit here under caution, I mean, this race, I mean, Ryan Gavel is now. I'm not sure if that's going to aid him like it did Riley Keffy, because Keffy, again, has been restarting this race all the time. I'm not sure if that's going to throw him off of his restarts or if that's going to hamper his ability to get going.
I'm interested to see if he starts blinking at all when they take the restart here, because that's going to throw a lot of people off as well if he starts blinking and no one really knows when to take off.
Ah, the deception tactics. Not expected, but yeah, but that's definitely an issue of him blinking out. But it looks like it's really under control and it's under pacing.
There they go, the green.
Looks like Ryan Gavel's got a good restart. Right on it.
And here comes that 88 car in 4th. He's finally starting to move up. And this is when it gets dangerous, because the 6 car was part of that 4 cars that were pulling away. The 88 car was the one car that had the speed. One of the top 3 cars that were fastest in practice, has had speed everywhere.
Obviously, all of these drivers are almost heavy from previous races. So, I mean, I'd say almost anyone is willing to pay it back if it means a race wins on it. Looks like Gavin got a little bit loose coming out of that corner. Keffy's right on him. Looks like Johnny Banfield is struggling. He's right on him. You still see the battle for first and second.
They're keeping it close. And these guys have been fast. They've pulled away from everyone.
Oh, Gavin kicked out just a little bit. We'll see back here. Well, Banfield. Banfield's going to be able to battle back on the high side. Isn't getting out. Looks like he can hit the wall a little bit.
Oh, yellow's out.
Looking back in the pack here, it looks like the 05 of Scott Richard was involved once more, I believe. There was someone down there. I think it was the 44 as well. I think the 44 was also involved.
The 44
And he hits the pit wall. Let's go ahead and take a look back here and see exactly what happened.
Looks like the 44 car got sideways coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like he got some a little bit of assistance from the 74. Looks like he hit the apron a little bit. We've got a little bit loose. He's been doing that a little bit. Actually, no. The 74 never touched him. Looks like the 44 just kind of lost it. I've seen him doing that the last few laps where he's been losing it on that apron. He's been trying to run that lower line that almost no one's been touching. This is slid up the track, hit Scott Richard, nowhere to go.
I've been seeing these guys when they're too wide. The person on the bottom really is getting loose down there. So it could have been an issue of just getting too low.
Go ahead and watch that from Scott Richard's car. See him just arcing down here in the standing over the corner, running back at the racetrack. I have nowhere. The 44 is there and nowhere. I don't know how badly he's damaged, but it looks like he is still rolling. So you got to think of Ryan Gabble from this perspective. With that last restart, Ryland Caffey's actually, that's the closest battle that they've had. So it definitely looks like O'Caffey has the faster car. That it looks like Caffey hit the corner or hit the back straightaway wall. Looks like the roll cage on the side of the car is actually still good, but I'm not sure. I don't think it should have affected the car any.
It should not. Shouldn't that much. I mean, these two have been so close to one another, basically running the same lap times, that it's hard to say that they're really gonna, like, one's gonna break away from the other one. So it's gonna be super interesting to see. I mean, we've got 21 laps to go. Now 20. This was the part where you were saying
maybe a few laps behind.
Oh, I might be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm still in the back. Yeah.
And it's getting within that 20 laps to go, and this is a time when we start pushing and shoving and saying, hey, I want that position, but there's not much time left. And definitely a time for that bump and run if you think you can run away. I mean, the last thing you want to do is bump someone out of the way and give them the opportunity to get right back at you.
You got to move them so you can get by them and go fast.
Because here's the thing. Once you hit someone out of the way, you know you're going to feel it. And you know that if you give them the shot, they're going to do it back to you.
Oh, they're either going to give it back to you this race or the next race. So you just got to...
here's the thing. They're either going to give you a small little shot to knock you around, or we're going to take you out. Looks like Riley O'Caffey may be dropping. Oh, no. It looks like he...
He's just trying to warm those tires up, just blasting by the pace car.
Like I said, with this new update, warming the tires are so important. I mean, I've heard reviews that some of these guys who are starting on the fresh tires or old cold tires, I mean, they're almost like starting on ice.
Don't want to get that wheel spin, but I mean, these guys have been keeping it clean, getting good restarts. As the pace car is off, we're about to go green.
Ryan Gabble did blink out a little bit on that restart. The Riley O'Caffey in second, trying to work his way through. Jordan Banfield is contending with that 88 for third.
Looks like the 80 car is going to be able to get by and now getting up to another position, but Banfield is going to be sticking there, but not close enough to get under and make it pass.
But you definitely got to think, I mean, Gabble and O'Caffey know that Cranbrook's coming in third. So as well as, hey, can we settle whatever problems we have out together and then run away? So this is not what Ryan Gabble wants to see.
New cars battling back in 6th. They're side by side while our leaders are trying to be careful of the 88 car.
It's worth noting that the 44 is done for the about an instant of the infield wall. You see an 88 and Crater goes right up to the back bumper of Keffy. Still battling here. It looks like Keffy can definitely run a spot up or at least a little bit more of a lower ground.
Whoa, here they go with the dive. Woo.
I don't know if Kramer Borg planned that, if he just got a little bit loose. But he went way down there. They're still battling here. Looks like Ryan Gallagher currently has the advantage.
I mean, it's time to go. We got 12 laps to go here. Who's going to win it? You got 3 cars that are pulling away from the pack. Ryan Gavel, Riley Keffy, and Tommy Krimberg.
See back there in the pack, looks like William Prestuja. Looks like he's battling with the 9 car. Oh, looks like the 6 again.
Got loose, got into the wall. The 9 car's able to get by.
Definitely, I'd say something's wrong with the 6 car's handling. It just looks like he's so loose in the bottom. I see Riley O'Keefe's trying to make another charge with the back bumper of Ryan Gavin.
With 10 laps to go, it's time to make your moves. You got a bumper, use it.
Cranenborg.
Whoa!
The blinking dicey.
The blinking might have gotten things a little bit tricky there. And oh no! O'Keefe gets in the wall.
Actually, I believe that was a little bit of net blinking in and out. But again, that's definitely opened up the door to the 88. And the 88's not shy about knocking people out of the way for a win.
O'Keefe gets in the wall and drops all the way down to 3rd. It doesn't look like he's going to lose anymore. But does the 88 have enough time to catch up to 1st?
I don't know if he's going to have any more time unless there's a little caution. It definitely looks like the 88 isn't as planted as it once was. I mean, he doesn't look, at least as solid as he did when he was driving up the field. And it's worth noting that it looks like the Ryan Gavel is able to get a higher speed. It looks like Kremenborg got a second off of Gavel here.
With 6 laps to go, lap cars are coming.
We do have lap traffic on the way. I believe that's the 27 of Joseph Clark. Not sure what line he's going to take. But this definitely aids.
Oh!
But this definitely will aid the 88 of Tommy Kremenborg. You know, Riley O'Keefe's just hanging back there in 3rd, just hoping that something happens to.
One of the lap cars spun out.
You guys, a 27 of Joseph Clark. Maybe he just got a little bit loose off the corner once.
That's exactly what happened. Got loose, got on the apron, and around she goes.
Take a look back here. But again, this is exactly the last thing that Ryan Gavel wanted to. The exact thing that Kremenborg and O'Keefe wanted to. Actually, it looks like this incident was just caused by Kremenborg running a lower line just to get out of the way. Yeah, he did the same thing that the 44 did and just put those 2 tires on the apron and spun around.
Got a couple cars coming in for the pits. No one up front. Everyone
would you, after seeing how long it took the 88 from 15th to 2nd, I mean, we don't have that kind of time for 3 laps for you to work up the field.
No, you do not.
Especially since these tire changes, they take such a long time on these lap down changing 2 tires. So, the top 3, you've got the 2nd place in points trying to be the points leader. You've got 2nd place, who is the points leader, and holds the win total this season. And the third with Riley O'Keefe, who hasn't won a race this year, who's been consistently fast in every race he's been in. Who you got?
I think I'm going to put my money here on Ryan Gaffel getting his first win and being now the points leader. Just he's been up front looking strong. I don't think there's enough time for that 88 car to get around.
I think I'm gonna pick Riley O'Keefe in the 38 car, just because he has that preferred bottom line and he can get right on Gavel and jump exactly when he goes, since he can see him. O'Keefe definitely has, or sorry, Kremenborg definitely has to be looking to the left and waiting for Gavel to take off.
I mean, see, when he takes off, that's kind of in quotations, because he's been blinking here on these restarts sometimes. So you might see when he takes off, and you might not.
Yeah, definitely a 50-50 chance there. But also that works in stark contrast to Kremenborg, who, again, relies on the 77 to realize when he needs to take off. And if you jump the restart, again, that's instant black flag, and that's the last thing you want. I mean, Kremenborg, here's the thing, his best case scenario is realistically just to finish second. I mean, there's no reason to go wreck or almost get into a wreck trying to race for first. Because here's the thing, if you get a bad points finish and Ryan Gavel gets even second place, I mean, that puts you way down in points, and that gives Gavel the point. It's more or less just protecting the lead that you have and just starting to build on it.
We are now entering a green-white checkered situation. Just want to look back here to 5th place. It's Dalton Tucker. This man has been in so many wrecks, and he's up to 5th now. Congratulations. Let's see if you can get any more positions and try not to get any more wrecks.
Yeah, he's definitely been bouncing around a lot. His lowest position that he fell to was 17th place. I mean, just rallying back from 17th is something in itself. It definitely goes here. We're getting right here to who do you think is going to win? I mean, we just seen these three race the way they do. And obviously, you've got JD Banfield back there in 4th. As a 77, Ryan Gavel blinks out a little bit. It's a good restart.
Just like you were saying, O'Keefe could get a great start, and that's what he gets. He goes up to 2nd place, but Gavel is going to be pulling up to 1st, and caution's out.
Let's see, but it may have been... Actually, I'm not sure who that was. It may have been the... or the 37 tank. Just want to check that here.
Getting back. I don't believe so. I think it was a car in front of...
I see here. It looks like it was the what's listed as the 999 car, but the side of the car says the 09 of Chris. Let's see. Take a look here. It looks like he just got a little bit loose, or it may have been a little bit of paint code. You see here going 3 wide. Yeah, it definitely looks like the actual 09 car of Charles Buchanan may have helped him around a little bit.
I mean, 3 wide is so tricky at this track.
Yeah, and definitely
already
that was definitely a bit of net code that knocked him off the racetrack.
Well, caution comes out. You rack him up, stack him again. Good to go for another green-white checkered here. You can ask the single questions. Who do you got?
That worked in great favor for actually the 88 of Tommy Kremenborg. Here's the thing, he knows now when to expect Ryan Gavel to take off. He's expecting that blink, but here's the most important thing. He can actually see him now. I think that worked adversely for the 77 and the 38, because here's the thing. The 38 was in great position on the bottom side, but now you put him up to the unpreferred line. I mean, I don't know if that's going to work for you.
It could work. It couldn't. I mean, we've seen these guys that start in 2nd. The leader takes off. 2nd just drops down to the bottom immediately before they even get to the line. I don't know if they haven't called any flags on that play yet, but that could be a strategy to keep yourself in 2nd place before 3rd place can come up and pass you.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to get called for 15 yards, but I mean, obviously seeing here, no one has really tried to match the leader's restart, and that's surprising. I'm not sure if it's just they can't tell when he's going to restart, but they had the same problem with Riley O'Keefe. They just couldn't tell when he went. They're going in the restart box, obviously, but it's just a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, you got to look down to your left and see when the car's taking off, or here whenever it takes off. And by that point, you could be in a slow start. So it's a little difficult here to get that restart in second place. You got to figure out the timing of the leader, and I think O'Keefe might have a chance here because we've seen Gavel in the lead. O'Keefe's been in second. So they have been doing this for a couple times. They might know when each other want to take off.
And here's the thing, all these guys are friends. It's no surprise if they do something.
Looking all the way back to the pack, we've got 15 cars in the lead pack. One car that's one lap down of Joseph Clark. And this is 15 cars on the lead pack. We've seen tons of caution so far. Even if you're in the back and there's a caution that happens in the front, it could take out a whole bunch of people and allow you to get even more positions. So your race, even if you're in the back, isn't over yet.
And look at that guy who's in the fourth position, Dalton Tucker. He's been slowly working his way through the field. And again, he has been on a mad dash just to chase his way back up the field. Jody Banfield fell back to fifth, but he's been consecutively in at least good contention. He's getting ready to go back green. Looks like Gavel takes a good restart. O'Keefe actually able to stay with him.
Gavel, O'Keefe, and coming on the outside, Tucker's making a move. Now, Tucker was the fastest guy in practice. Will he be able to hold off and be able to pass the guys that are in front of him? Gonna be moving up front.
Right now, I think it's only O'Keefe and Gavel. As you see this looks like he takes a spin at the bottom.
Into the white flag. You've got Gavel in the lead. O'Keefe in second. Who's going to be winning this out? O'Keefe gets a little bit sideways. He's going to keep
send it.
He's going to be holding off second for now, but it looks like the winner of this race, it's going to be Ryan Gavel getting his first win of the season.
About time. Looks like he gets his first win. Riley O'Keefe in second. Dalton Tucker, even though it isn't a win, he rallies back to third place. Tommy Kramenborg comes back in fourth. I mean, here's the thing, even though it's not a win for him, it's a great finish.
I mean, we got it. The craziest thing is that Dalton Tucker got up to third place and finished third. That's crazy. Our top two have been the top two all race long. Dalton Tucker, he was all the way back to 17th at some point during this race and climbed his way all the way up to third. Congratulations in third place. Well, we got our top two doing donuts. What a wild race.
Tucker wants to jump in, but he hasn't started burning up. He looks like he is. He's parked it. Ryan Gavel's still doing some donuts. That was quite impressive, just seeing them battle. Honestly, I think that Riley O'Keefe may have actually had something for Gavel if he didn't hit the wall. I mean, he might have been able to send it in that last corner and just tried something.
That was something that he was doing a lot during the race, was getting into a couple of times. I mean, the outside wall was just being mean to him, like how many times he would be hitting it, entering corners or exiting corners. But yeah, Ryan Gavel, somehow he gets past. The blinking kept him in the race somehow, and he wins it all.
But definitely that finish, though, that is exactly what Ryan Gavel was hoping. Just he can get a good restart and hold off the other two. I mean, I really thought that O'Keefe had something for him. Just, again, that unfortunate contact with the wall. And Tucker, again, just rallying, coming back through the field. I mean, he is a man on a mission. Let's go ahead and take a look at your finishing results while we wait for everyone to be available. As we see here again, Ryan Gavel, first place, taking a commanding victory. See Riley O'Keefe coming in second, Dalton Tucker in third. That rounds out our top three. We'll get interviews with them when available. Tommy Kramenborg fourth. Again, our points leader, I think he may be the points leader coming out of this race. But again, I mean, he's keeping this points battle pretty close between him and Gavel. Jody Banfield in fifth. Ken Zeems, we haven't actually heard from him very much. He was pretty solid in this race and still managed to get a pretty good top 10. Rick Thompson Jr., I mean, he's one that actually started way back in the field, and he slowly worked his way back up. Patrick Huser, I think. My apologies on butchering his name, but he managed to come back for an eighth place finish after I think being sent for a spin. Same with the 999 of Chris L. Fritz. And then Michael Timmerman, again, he was one of those cars that got spun around as well. As we just
Yeah,
go through the field.
everyone else from here on out, practically everyone was in a spin. It was from about ninth on back, everyone was in some type of accident, and somehow they all got to this point.
Now, it is worth noting that the 6 of William Cresuja, my apologies, of William, he actually got involved in, it looks like a last lap spin, and he got regulated back to a 15th place. And again, Rickard and I believe Tahan Dank, I mean, those are all guys who were involved in multiple wrecks, and I mean, they pulled out okay finishes, but I mean, out of a 22 car field, I mean, finishing 13th is not going to look too great for you. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the third place finisher of Dalton Tucker in here. Let's see here. Voila, I've moved him in. Hello, Dalton. This is Matthew in the Flatout Racing Network booth. How you doing?
Pretty good. A little tired after that one.
Yeah, you look like a man on a mission. I mean, you came back from 17th place. You couldn't even finish third.
Yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I got turned at the beginning, and I felt like I had arguably one of the cars to beat. I had a lot of speed, and got sent to the back. And then a couple run-ins in the back. I was I was honestly ready to quit after that, and I guess I stuck it out and got a good finish.
You can't complain. I mean, you kind of lit a fire under yourself. Rushed into the. I
Yeah,
didn't see anyone move that quick.
it was fun. I had a little bit of right front damage, but it still drove pretty good.
Tucker, there was so much going on that race. It seemed like you were next to almost every accident. Did you feel like there was a chance that you were just going to wreck out at some point? How much action was around you?
Yeah, at one time I had 2 minutes worth of damage, and I got that all fixed. I got back out there. I think I was in 15th, 16th, and a guy turned across my nose and gave me 50 more seconds. So then I had to fix that. And every time I got out there, there's a wreck in front of me or beside me, and it just was not my night. It was fun, just I don't know.
Guess you were the eye of the storm there. Is there anyone that you want to be thanking?
Uh, just thank my teammate Josh. He told me about this league and it was pretty good and had some fun. That's my honestly first laps I've ever turned in the car, and there it was fun. It was definitely different. But appreciate you guys for doing the broadcast. I'll have to go back and check it out and see the eye of the storm y'all are talking about.
All right. Congratulations on your third place win. It was Dalton Tucker.
Good job hustling.
Appreciate it.
So we'll go ahead and we'll release you back to the hounds. Go ahead and just yeet you to a random channel. There you go. All right, that was our third place finisher, Dalton Tucker. Let's go ahead and bring in our second place finisher here, Riley O'Keefe. I hope I'm not butchering his name. I'll go ahead and I'll let Sam lead us off here.
Riley, congratulations on a second place finish. How was that being up front in the top two and almost having a chance to win it?
I mean, I guess you can call me Chase Elliott.
Yeah,
Racking up these second place finishes.
a lot of second place finishes. Did you feel like at some point that you had this race won, or do you feel like it was just a battle all the way through?
No, I'm not the best at this track. I think I personally suck at this track. Big tracks are my weakness, but I felt like I was going pretty quick, but Ryan was just faster than me. I just didn't have anything for him really.
Yeah, I mean, you guys seem like the top two with the way that qualifying figured out, and you guys were all the way up there. Was there anything that made you nervous, like that you thought Tommy of the 88 car, or you thought Tucker was going to come and pass you in for second?
Nah, the biggest thing that scared me was the lap cars, but thankfully they got out of the way.
Thankfully they did. Matt, do you have any more questions?
I do have to point out on that last lap when you just nicked that wall a little bit. Do you think if you didn't hit the wall, you could actually get to the back of Gavel? Was it?
I still think I was too far back because like if you overdrive the turn, you can't turn it. It just goes straight. I wouldn't have been able to hit him square. I would have just drove right through him and spun him out. So I wasn't even gonna do that even if I didn't hit the wall. Just too far out.
Actually, this question comes from both myself, Sam here. Out of curiosity, did Gavel blinking in and out actually hurt your restart, or?
That one restart, I forget which one it was. It was either when I was in third and Tommy was in second, or vice versa. One of those restarts, he blinked, and of course, right when he blinked, he got on the gas, and me and Tommy just fell back. So I guess you could say he had a little advantage with the blinking, but he swears he's not lag switching. I don't know, a little suspicious.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and anyone you want to shout out here?
I
mean, you do it almost every week, but
shout out my computer. We're running iRacing pretty good. Get good frame rate. Get to play the game all day. And have some fun with my friends.
Well, thank you very much, Riley. Out of curiosity, is your name okay?
It's O'Keefe, actually.
O'Keefe.
Alrighty, so I feel terrible.
No, the worst was Tommy. It's Kremborg.
Yeah, we got everyone's names wrong.
I've been called Kramenborg.
The other season.
Yeah. It's funny listening to the live stream.
Yeah, it's also funny watching us hearing the replay and us just kind of thinking about things and then getting you guys in here. No,
Yeah.
not at all. So I'll go ahead and I'll just yeet you out to a random channel. Thank you for speaking with us. We'll go ahead and see you next week when you finish top 3.
Hopefully. My flag should be one of my stronger tracks. I think that's where we're going next week.
I think for next week, let me just pull up the schedule here out of curiosity.
It's either that, Concord, or Thompson. Pretty good at all 3 of those tracks.
Let's see here. We're going to... well, I had the schedule right here. Let's see here. This is embarrassing. Next week, we are going to Five Flags, then Irwindale.
Oh, Irwindale, I should be pretty good at.
Yeah, it's Five Flags on the 12th, and then Irwindale on the 18th, and then we take a Christmas break.
Christmas break, I like that.
Yeah, so we can all open up presents. But again, I'll go ahead and I'll just yeet you out to a random channel here. Channel 3 is looking quite nice. I just moved myself by accident. Let me go ahead and I'll move you up. Alrighty, so I yeeted him to driver channel. Let's go ahead and bring in our Ryan Gavel. And again, I'll let Sam lead us off here.
Ryan Gavel, congratulations on the win. How was that race?
That was a pretty good race. Kind of caution filled there toward the start, but once we got toward that last quarter, the race had some good long runs. But yeah, it was a pretty good race overall. Hard fought win for sure. Had to fight through a couple guys and hold off Riley there for a while, but good race.
Yeah, it seemed like you and Riley were battling out for the whole entire race. Was there any point that you felt like, man, this is going to be too hard for me to pass him?
For a while it did. I just needed a few laps, and I knew I could have a chance. I did have to kind of nudge him out of the way a little bit, but I knew that was kind of all fair in short track racing. So once I got that first run at like 6 or 7 laps, I kind of just gave him a little friendly nudge out of the way and got by him and was able to hold him off, which was a lot more of a challenge than I honestly thought.
Matt, do you have any more questions?
Well, I mean, definitely about time you got a win, but I mean, how do you feel? I mean, I think you're the points leader coming out of this.
Yeah, it's going to be close in points between me and Tommy, but yeah, it definitely feels good to get the monkey off my back. Got 2 third-place finishes in a row. It should have even been the first 3 races all third place with the issue there at the bull ring kind of knocked me back, but definitely a good start. Finally got that win. I know I'm better at these bigger tracks, and hopefully I can come alive here these next.
Yeah, speaking about these next few weeks, you've got Five Flags and Irwindale coming in December. I mean, do you think you're going to be able to keep the momentum rolling, or we're going to have at least a little bit of difficulty with these tracks?
Yeah, definitely the competition's tight, but I think I've got much more skill at those bigger tracks like Five Flags and Irwindale per se and Thompson, and I think definitely going to be a challenge still, but I think I'm going to do better than those bull ring short tracks that we've been.
Offhand question: you got to petition sim racers for mental health to change Irwindale to a figure eight?
No, no is my vote. That'd be interesting.
Alrighty, I think I think that's all for the questions. Do you got anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank obviously the league and everyone for running this. It's a good league. Race of Champions Modifieds and everyone out there. William Kruska for running it with his sim races for mental health. Everyone out there watching on the stream. My girlfriend's out there watching. Shout out to her. And yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty. Well, we'll go ahead and I'll move you to a random channel. I think I'll actually be polite and move you back to the waiting room. But I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I think you're the points leader coming out of this. Not you're behind by maybe 2 points. But yeah, definitely good luck going into next week with 5 flags, and hopefully you can continue the momentum both to 5 flags and Irwindale.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, so I just went ahead and I moved him back to the waiting room since I will be moving in a representative for the Race of Champions, just to give a little bit more information about the series and what they actually do. So let's go ahead and move in Zach here. Now, Zach was also the driver of the 44 car. Hello, Zach. This is Matthew in the Flatout Racing Network.
Hello.
Julie, can you give us a little bit more insight on what a Race of Champions is? I mean, what kind of series they hold?
So the Race of Champions actually has, if I remember correctly, 7 different series. We have the Modifieds, we have Asphalt Sportsmen, we have late models, midgets, and super stocks. And I think there's one I'm missing. I don't know. And we have dirt sportsmen on the dirt side.
Absolutely. And at least I was reading from the history. I mean, Race of Champions been around for about 50, 60 years. I mean, just going back the whole list of winners and champions, it's just amazing.
Yeah. So this year was our 69th annual Race of Champions 250. We had it at Lake Erie Speedway. This year will actually be our 70th Race of Champions 250, which will also be held at Lake Erie Speedway in northeast Pennsylvania.
Very impressive. I mean, I'm just looking here. I mean, just looking back. I mean, you guys began in 1950. It was started as one modified race with the same name.
Yeah.
Just impressive. And you got your website here, the ROCseries.com, and obviously the Wikipedia page with more information.
Yeah, we do. We try and keep the.
Oh, my apologies.
No, we try and keep the Wikipedia page up to date with information and try and add more to it as much as we can.
Absolutely. And Sam, do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us here, Zach, and special presentation on Race of Champions here in just a few weeks, just so we can maybe run like an ad or just something to showcase the series and what more you guys do.
Yeah, thanks for having us, and thanks for hosting the series on your YouTube and Twitch.tv.
Well, thank you very much, Zach. I'll go ahead and I'll put you back in the waiting room, Ryan here. So thank you very much. Alrighty, that was Zach here, just giving us a little bit more insight of the Race of Champions series. So going off of this race with the USA Speedway, I mean, this race.
You had the 2 drivers that were up front the whole entire time. Then you had third place of Dalton Tucker that really had to battle from all the way to the back up to the front. USA International Raceway really gave us a fun thing to watch.
They definitely did. I mean, here's the thing, almost like they said, once they get to a bigger track like 5 Flags and also Irwindale, I mean that's just going to intensify it up and may actually let some drivers who've had some down weeks here, like Cody Tripp and Tahan Dank, actually get up to the field and start, showcasing their stuff and maybe get back up in the points. And that also leads the biggest point for Tommy and Ryan to actually go out and lose positions or possibly lose points leads.
Or they could start winning again. I mean, the 88 car, we've seen him win 2 in a row, and now the 77 has won. We'll see who else can win, and we'll see if we'll have any more repeaters.
Absolutely. So this has been Matthew and Sam from the Flatout Racing Network. We'll go ahead and we'll see you next week here at Flatout Racing Network for the Sim Racers for Mental Health Race of Champions race at 5 Flags.